Uh, Before we go a little deeper, a few very strange facts about the dairy industry, which might shock some people. One, of course, is the controversy already which is there, which is between the traditional Indian cows and imported cows. In fact, right behind me, you'll see that this white and black Jersey cow, which a lot of, if you're an NRI, you might be familiar. You'll see them in countries like US and New Jersey. Right next to that is a brown cow, which is typically the traditional cow, which is supposed to have a hump. There are a lot of Indian traditional cow varieties which have been there in India for a long time, and a lot of them are slowly dying out. Whereas the government has been systematically importing these Jersey cows from foreign countries. One is these cows are not acclimatized to our Indian conditions, because of which a lot of them need very special attention. They don't mate properly. They need very different kind of feed. And a lot of farmers who had imported these cows, these Jersey cows, thinking that they will have a higher yield of milk, have all found it very difficult to maintain them. Whereas the Indian cows, traditionally they go for open grazing. They graze in the open and eat local plants and all that, so they're much more easier to maintain. But unfortunately, a lot of them are dying out because of this sudden craze in dairy farming to increase the milk yield. The second thing is, of course, milk itself is something which the cow is meant for its calf, for its baby. It's like your mother, only if she's pregnant or having a baby, a lady would typically have milk in her breast. Otherwise, you can't keep pumping your breast however much you twist the nipple. There's not going to be any milk coming out of it. Whereas in the dairy industry, there is a very strange expectation that the cow will continue to keep on giving milk because they set some targets, because of which they do some pretty brutal things, like they artificially inseminate the cow to keep it pregnant every single year. Okay, which is like forcibly impregnating your mother and making her have babies. So that she could keep giving milk, which could be pumped out and sold in the market. That's how brutal the milk industry is, and what you and I are drinking so far. Okay, yes, the cow always gives excess milk, and beyond the calf, it is always available for other things. But we need to make sure that these kind of practices are, first of all, aware of. People are made aware of, so that there is a big movement of vegan where they're even avoiding milk itself because of some of these practices. The second thing is, of course, the kind of feed which is given. In a lot of the commercial kind of dairies, they put hormones and things like that, which invariably comes through the milk to the people who drink it. And invariably, a lot of the obesity factors which you see both abroad and in India is because we are drinking milk which is full of a lot of these artificial hormones, which are basically meant to beef up the cow or make it fatter, or the milk richer and creamier and things like that. Okay, so and the last interesting fact, of course, is most of the dairy farms, they only keep the female and they kill the male because they realize that the males are useless, they don't give milk. And I don't know whether they start doing that to humans and they start retaining only the ladies and say, oh, they can work, they can take care of the family, why do you even need males, and start killing the males in the population. Okay, so that happens very common and across most of India. So these are all things which kind of shock me. Okay, another little shocker which I kind of realized was since most of the industry is focused only on milk, so after a certain age, the cow unfortunately no longer is able to give the milk, after which they actually sell the cow for the beef industry or the meat eating industry. I was told confidentially by many people that even some of the religious institutions and the mutts which raise donation in the name of Go Seva, in the name of protecting the cow. So once the milk is over, they release the cows to the slaughterhouse. But interestingly, which is where people like my Guruji, Mr. Pasuraghavan, comes in, where they no longer look at the cow just for the milk. So they are looking at other byproducts, like basically the cow dung and the urine. And from the cow dung, like a lot of you might be familiar, if you go to a temple, they give you this vibhuti, this holy ash. I don't know how many of you know that the holy ash is actually cow dung. So you take the cow dung, they do some yajna, they burn that cow dung with a lot of other materials and finally fine tune it, and what you're actually putting on your forehead is nothing but the ash from the cow dung. Okay, so similarly from the go ark, which is the urine, it is actually a medicine. There are a lot of medicinal benefits to that, and of course rather than me saying it, I'll probably have a doctor or some Ayurvedic specialist actually explain about the benefits of go ark. A lot of people actually drink go ark, which of course has to be slightly distilled, and you need to be a little careful because the cows, what they feed in the city, they eat a lot of the trash which is there. So ideally cows in the villages which are fed good crops, actually the urine and the cow dung are in much better quality. And of course there are a lot of other products you can be made from them, like very interestingly, incense sticks and perfumes and soaps and even hair shampoos and all that. So I would be taking you into an organic store which are a lot of these products already available, and of course a lot of you would have seen them in stores near you. So to promote cows and goshalas like this, instead of just relying on milk alone, if a lot of you start buying these byproducts which comes out of the cow, that will also enable the farmer to maintain cows which otherwise might end up in a slaughterhouse. Okay, another common controversy around milk and milk producers, of course, is the price of milk, and a lot of dairy farmers keep complaining that the price is not viable. Okay, couple of things. Just now I told you that milk alone is not the only product which the cow is providing. There are a lot of other things which can be manufactured with a little bit of entrepreneurship. I think this is definitely possible. Second most interesting thing is most of the milk production, even today, about 70 to 80% is highly unorganized. The organized dairy side is only about 10 to 15%, and even that, most of it is under government control. If you see, each of the Amul has been a great example, which of course was a brainchild of Dr. Kurian. But interestingly, this has not been that well replicated, because Amul as a brand, especially that Amul girl coming in the newspaper, and then Amul going into byproducts like cheese and dairy and a lot of other interesting things, can be easily emulated by other states and other people. But unfortunately, even after so many years, even after having Dr. Kurian personally pushing a lot of things, it has really not gone outside of Gujarat. The sorry state is, if you actually go through the news articles, if you Google around, both in Karnataka and in Tamil Nadu, I recently read that bulk of the milk which is procured by the government is actually wasted. They are not able to market them. They are not able to do any value addition. In spite of having Arvind booths and parlors all over the place, the demand and supply is so skewed that they are over procuring. And recently there was an article that the Tamil Nadu government and both the Karnataka, of course I don't want to get into details about the politics behind it and all that, but it's a very pathetic state that you are procuring milk under all these conditions, and then you're not able to sell them properly, you're not able to value addition properly, and you're just trying to waste it away. And at least if you can give it to poor people or children at a subsidized rate, so what if you if you lose a little money there, you're losing money in so many other things. At least the milk which has been procured would reach the people. Okay, so these are some things which are a little shocking to me, that marketing always becomes a big problem. It's not even the supply. So we seem to be having an oversupply of milk and a very, very pathetic marketing department here.